head to Granada. El amor no costa un nada. You take me higher. Let's get it like. Señorita, señorita, ¿qué pasa? I've been moving across the world to see you. I've been moving far away to you. Baby girl, won't you wait a minute? Taking on a trip in fantasy. Got me holding on to your energy.
Hey Zouk family, we're back again, and this time we're chatting to another regional superstar. This is one of Malaysia's finest. To try and describe Roshan is really hard. I can't just say he's a DJ of the last 3 years. He's also got a label. He's also doing a DJ collective, also books international artists. He also puts on nights. I mean, Roshan, how do I describe you? How do I do you justice? Because you pretty much do everything in the industry.
Hi everyone. Hi Joseph. Basically, I think easiest way to kind of put it is that we're an imprint. We're trying to make an impact in any way possible, even if it's in a small way or a big way. So we try and dabble in a little bit of everything, like label work, artist management work, booking agent as a booking agency, creative agency. We even have a design team that we formed, a design agency called Always Saturday. So it's just a bit of everything to kind of see what exactly is our specialty or what do we want to do. You know, like over the years we've kind of like found, we're trying to find our niche, and we've kind of found like certain things that keeps us passionate about the music and about what we're doing. So we're always doing things that keep us going and keep us passionate about what we're doing, basically.
So Roshan, how did you get started, and then how did you end up diversifying into so many different aspects of nightlife?
So Saturday Selects actually came about from my university's final year project, and I spoke about the idea to my friend at the time, and we just decided, okay, you know, like let's do something related to music. And the initial idea with Saturday Selects was we were getting producers to give us tracks, like producers that aren't on radio, like friends of mine that I knew who made music, and we were doing it. We were partnering them with photographers because I'm a photographer as well, and we were giving these photographers an opportunity to photograph album artworks for these producers, you know, in hopes that they would get to work with bigger artists in the future. And after 7 releases, people started coming up to us, hey, you know what you guys are doing is super cool. Why don't you guys throw a party? And to be honest, we've never done that. We haven't even thought about that like at the time, like 4.5 years ago. But the opportunity presented itself with Arteva because we knew the marketing manager at the time. And we did our first party in July 2016. We had about 350 people, and the rest is history. We kind of like, you know, I got really hooked onto promote. I didn't know the term was promoting parties until like a year later. I was just like, I'm throwing parties like for my friends. I get free drinks. There's like beautiful people everywhere. So that was the kind of thing that got me hooked onto it. And over time, I mean, the first 2.5 years, honestly, we were doing it for fun. Like, you know, we didn't really see like this was a fun side project. We all had like full-time jobs and we were doing things on the side. And over time, like we just decided, okay, I think it's time to take this seriously because I didn't like working for people, like, you know, so I couldn't be in an office or a cubicle. I did economics and finance. So doing an internship at an accounting firm kind of showed me that I don't want to work for anyone else, especially if I'm not passionate about it. So I think it was 2 years ago when we just started our residency at Six in Bangsa, a hip hop club. We kind of decided, okay, we think it's time to like take this a bit more seriously.
So then that's quite a jump from organizing successful parties and then leaping into label-based work and big DJ booking and then spinning at Pisco and Kia. So obviously your background in economics and finance helped you set up and roll out as many businesses as you're doing now.
Yeah.
Where did the movement into the label start?
The label started basically because we were putting out a lot of tracks, but we didn't know about the whole agreements with producers and the whole back end to being a record label. And the opportunity kind of came up when there was this Malaysian kid that I met in Singapore 4.5 years ago, 5 years ago. We were watching Mr. Carmack, and he was like this super enthusiastic, excited kid from like KL, and he was going to study in Berlin. And while he was in Berlin, like the past like 2-3 years, he's been like sending me tracks and like just like really bugging me about it. But we kind of found a chemistry between each other, and I manage him. His name is Talia as well. And that's when we were like, okay, I want to put out like original music that it doesn't fit in a sense in Malaysian radio, like something out of the ordinary, something a bit more unique. Like we cater a lot to an international market. Like our biggest listenership on our weekly radio shows come from outside Malaysia, like 90% outside Malaysia. So, and we get featured a lot on Rinse FM in UK, NTS Radio, Berlin Community Radio, Singapore Community Radio, Box Out FM in India. So what I've realized like over the past 4 years is that there's no Malaysian collective that's kind of bringing together a small group and connecting with an international audience and other international like collectives or businesses like us.
Hey, that's phenomenal. It's fantastic that you're repping Malaysia and also you're giving them a voice outside, because if I'm totally honest, before I moved to Malaysia half a decade ago, I wouldn't have thought about it as a creative hub for dance music in any way. But if you're doing that and you're getting it as far afield, as you say, as Europe, as India, even as close as Singapore, that's opening great doors for people. So let me ask you before we carry on, if there are local artists based out there who want to be heard, or people who thought before that they didn't have a chance, how can they reach out to you?
They can always we're always like, we receive submissions all the time. Like you can always email us at hello@saturdayselects.com. So we're just always looking for like alternative, left field, unique kind of sounds, you know, that we don't really hear Malaysian producers make as often, or we don't hear on the radio. Like, you know, to me, the only alternative radio like show in KL was Into the Blue on BFM with Tim Sharp. And I was listening religiously to his shows like for at least 2-3 years. And that's what really like opened up my eyes to, okay, this is maybe possible, you know, like bringing this sound here. But even then, like his show just ended, I think, a month ago with BFM. So we don't really have an alternative platform at the moment, I feel, for the sound.
I love it. You're like the Timberland of Malaysia. You're
I don't produce though.
So which kind of artists should we keep our eye out for? Who have you discovered that's on the way out and we want to go and check them out? Where can we find them?
Okay, so basically under Saturday Selects, we have 13 artists from around the world. We have one person based in Paris, Berlin, 3 from the US, 3 in Jakarta, and 1 in Singapore, and the rest of us are in Malaysia, like I think 6 of us. But two of the artists are very consistent with putting out music. So that's Dahlia. He's currently based here. He was studying in Berlin for a bit. And Smiley, who makes jazz music, like amazing UK jazz, like stuff I don't usually get to hear here. Like I feel like the jazz hub would be Alexis in Bangsa with like kind of Marcus. Yeah, Marcus really pushes that forward. John Thomas. So Smiley really fits into that. But we're in the middle of working towards releasing his EP. But outside of Saturday Selects, like one of my favorite producers right now is Fox from Singapore. And a new producer by the name of Halal Soul, who signed under Darker Than Wax. I really think like that guy has an amazing future like coming for him in the next few years. Sorry. But other than that, we work with a variety of artists. If you check out our SoundCloud, we've worked with artists from Belgium, from Nigeria, from Canada, and all these people are just like everyday people who have full-time jobs who just make music on the side because they're passionate about it.
And that's the best way. The passion driver is much more wholesome than the money driving aspect to the music.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think as someone, I specifically like deep house and techno because of the way that it makes me feel, rather than more commercialized music. Not that there's anything wrong with people who choose to play EDM.
Yeah.
But okay, let me deep dive into you a little bit more, Roshan. So I'll quick fire some questions you can fire back at me. So who was your inspiration to get yourself a set of decks in the first place?
Oh, who was my inspiration? So I've been like messing around with virtual DJ since I was a kid, but I had no idea like what I was doing. And the first real opportunity, like I think the first experience that I got to see live, like DJs playing, was Swedish House Mafia when they played in Sunway, like in 2011, and that was mad. Like at the time I was listening like EDM, like Steve Angelo, but I was also listening to like Scream, you know, the old dubstep, like kind of music, and seeing Swedish House Mafia on stage, and that was like my first concert ever back in 2011. And I was just like, wow, like one day I want to be able to like play on that like stage. But what really accelerated that was watching this guy named Jero Vandal play in Singapore. And I was like just literally standing right in front of him and watching him play. And I was like, wow, okay, this guy really uses like the entire CDJs and he controls the crowd and he just maneuvered through like hip hop, R&B, breakbeats, house, techno, disco, soul, funk. Like I was like, in 1.5 hours, you go through all the genres because I was so used to like clubbing in Malaysia. Like if it's a house music night, it's house, it's techno, it's hip hop. No one really, and the term open format here refers to EDM. So there's no like real open format night in my opinion. But seeing him go through all those like those genres, really, I was just like, okay, this is like kind of like I want to learn how to DJ. I want to be able to do this long term. And the third experience that I had that was like, okay, this is like what I want to play from now on was watching Gert Jensen in Q. Like that kind of pushed me like I want to play house and disco and techno and electronic music from now on. Like because prior I was playing like a lot of hip hop, R&B, Afro beats. That was the main stuff I was playing. I wasn't really into house, but watching Gert play live at Q like just blew that out for me.
It's amazing you said that. I had two of my ever live music sessions watching Swedish House Mafia at Brixton Academy and then at Ushuaia, and this was a long time ago. And
yeah, I can imagine.
The show aspect just really got me, and the fact that their music really resonated with everyone in the room because there was an emotional touch to it. I'll never forget it. The second you describe with the open format is 8-track. I also heard an 8-track to leap from hip hop to old school house to disco, throwing out 70s tracks. And I like you.
And he's doing that now too with the brothers Malkovich. Like the streamings they've been doing, the SoundCloud mixes they've been putting out, like super house and disco from like the Heads We Roll 8-track that we know, and he's moving into that. So it's really nice to see like that's kind of bringing back the resurgence of like electronic music, really.
So how another good question, your advice to young people out there who want to get noticed, also people who want to research their way into developing either a production side or learning the skills of DJing, or even may want to follow in your footsteps and start to publicize music or publish it or labels. What is your advice? You obviously said, right, I don't want to be an accountant. I don't want to work for someone else. I want to set my own time and I want to work with a sense of purpose and passion. What's your advice to someone else to take that plunge?
Honestly, you just need to ask like anybody. Like that's the one thing I had a big fear of in my first year, like asking people for like nights to throw our parties, like different bars. Like I was really reluctant and hesitant. I used to be an introvert as well, like very shy to talk to people. But over time I realized like when I asked people for certain things or asked them certain questions relating to the industry, they would just more than willingly like answer and like educate me. I did a lot of reading as well. And about like asking people as well, some people aren't going to give you all the information. Like some people just don't like sharing. I've had my fair share of experiences like talking to DJs and other promoters and club owners who just like, how long are you going to be doing this for? You're not going to last, like, you know, you have no experience. Like, and that's the one thing I want to kind of show. Like I'm coming from an economics and finance background. I did my A levels. I have zero music background. I was just listening to like Malaysian hip hop. I was growing up in Malaysian music and Beatles and Oasis because of my parents. And I still got into it. I still grew in love with it organically. And you don't have to be born with the passion. The passion can come eventually at any time in your life. Like people were telling me, "Oh, you're too old to start DJing." I was 24. I'm like, I'm not that old. How can I be so old to like start DJing? 24 is like not that like late in any way, because there are DJs who are still DJing who are like 30, 40, you know, and they're doing fine. Doesn't mean just because I started a bit later than everybody else, I don't have that experience. So that's like kind of what I want to encourage other people to do.
Don't forget, Sven Vath is 60 plus.
Exactly, Sven Vath is 60 plus.
So there's no reason people can't stop. There's no people, and he still plays vinyl.
Oh shit! Okay.
So let me finish with a couple of things, Roshan. Saturday Selects, not just a great idea, concept, and company, but a great mission statement behind it and giving people, especially local Malaysians, an opportunity. How do people reach out, read more, learn more, interact with Saturday Selects?
Well, you can follow us on our Instagram, on our Facebook page, at Saturday Selects on all platforms. We're on Twitter as well. We're building our website right now, but most of our information and updates are regularly updated on Instagram on a weekly basis. Yeah.
Secondly, where can people hear you spin?
Right now on Mixcloud Live, because I'm streaming on a on a weekly basis. We have started developing this new project of ours called Saturday Selects on Air, which happens every weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sundays. So like tonight, we have Nazarun and Aduti playing later from Beat Militia and Void Realm. So we're trying to provide a platform specifically for DJs to be able to stream and record their mixes and have it up on Mixcloud for later. We let them bring some friends over to come and chill and hang and just enjoy the music. Really, I feel like there's no space currently that does that, because while traveling, like when I played in Europe and Tokyo and Seoul, I visited a lot of the community radios there, and I feel like we don't have that kind of community epicenter. Like the closest thing we have is Phono in Zongshan building, which is run by the public school team. You know, it's an amazing space, but we want to create another separate space for other people who want to listen to other kinds of music as well. So that's what we're doing right now.
Phenomenal, man. I've really enjoyed it. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us, and I really love what you're up to. We'd love to stay in touch with what you're doing. We hope you come and spin up here as well.
Yeah, I would love to. I've seen pictures of Zook and thing, like while Adam throws his parties, the trance parties over there. Looks insane.
It's a beast. It's a beast for sure. But my last question I ask everyone, Roshan, I've asked everyone across the world this: you're going to represent Malaysia at the Olympics. What sport is it in?
Table tennis. I love table tennis. Like I wouldn't say I'm the greatest, but like I can beat some of my friends. I could probably try out the team.
The speed that you answered displays confidence.
I play table tennis like on a weekly basis just for fun.
Well, listen, Roshan, I really appreciate it, man. Stay safe during this pandemic.
You too.
You look after yourself, and we look forward to catching up with you. We're going to check out your socials straight after this. You've got a mix for us, which we can't wait for. Yeah. And please come and visit us straight after the lockdowns have all diminished.
Definitely, I will. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Not at all. We've really enjoyed it. And as I said, there's one thing with people who get into this game. Some people do it for fame, some people do it because they just love music, but you have a real strong sense of purpose with what you're doing. And a lot of people don't realize I do. I've only been fortunate enough to be here for 5 years, but Malaysia is an amazing place with a lot of talent. It's just people kind of focus on Tokyo, Singapore, around the area. Apart from the amazing food, the amazing climate, beaches, there's a lot of musical talent here. And you just go look at Yuna, for instance, as a great example, but there's a lot more deep dive in there, local talent in all sorts of walk of music. So it's great that you're giving everyone a voice.
Thank you. Appreciate it, man. Just trying to do what we can.
Take care, my friend.
Take care. See you.